Welcome to Beaver Tracks, a damn good podcast where we bring you inside the world of OSU and share a behind-the-scenes look at Beaver Nation. I'm Allie Carter, Regional Admissions Advisor for Southern California.
And I'm Craig Bronner, Assistant Director of Admissions at OSU-Cascades. And joining us for this episode of our Alumni Voices segment on the Beaver Tracks podcast is Shane Kelly. And Shane is an OSU-Cascades graduate from 2023.
Yeah.
Very recent. Shane, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So can you tell us a bit more about yourself and maybe what you majored in and where you're from?
Sure. Yep. So I was a student at OSU-Cascades from 2019 to 2023. And I was a psychology major here at OSU-Cascades, minoring in human development and family sciences. I'm originally from the Midwest, grew up outside of Chicago, Illinois. And so a few of the key reasons why I chose OSU-Cascades, number one being the proximity to the outdoors. I'm a big rock climber and mountain biker and runner. So those aspects definitely drew me to Bend in Central Oregon. Number two being the small campus size of OSU-Cascades. I came during high school and I toured the campus. And I really fell in love with how everybody seemed to know each other. And it kind of seemed like almost like a big family in a way. And then number three being the small class sizes. I tend to learn better when a professor really takes the time to know me, knows my name, and there's a lot of room for discussion. So I kind of always knew I wanted to go to college on the West Coast, being from the Midwest. I wanted to explore a different part of the country and kind of wanted to be immersed in nature. And so Bend and OSU Cascades really kind of just fell into place for me.
Awesome. And you were quite involved on campus. Can you talk a bit about some of your jobs and clubs that you're a part of?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a few jobs on campus. I worked in the dining hall for the first 3 years as a student here. And then I also was a barista in Study Grounds, which is our on-campus coffee shop. Other than that, I was also a student tour ambassador. So I have the opportunity to work under Craig and with Craig for the last couple of years. Going from ambassador to admissions advisor was a easy process. There were definitely some things I had to learn along the way, but coming in with that knowledge, that background knowledge about the campus really helped me out in this position. Besides that, I also worked as a summer academy chaperone. So I'm helping to mentor high school students through a week-long summer camp here on campus. And then I also worked as a student orientation leader for new incoming freshmen.
Awesome. And you kind of touched upon it, but I think the listeners, it would be really helpful for them to know. So you graduated from OSU Cascades and now you work for OSU Cascades as an admissions advisor.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I think that kind of a common theme that we've heard from our Cascades students is that everyone's been really involved in the community because, like you said, it's kind of like a big family. And so it's really cool to hear, how all of you have been involved. And of course, you're continuing to stay involved on campus. So that's super cool.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit about your academic history? So did you know what you wanted to major in coming in, or did you kind of switch it up a little bit when you got here?
Yeah, really good question. I actually changed my major. So coming out as a senior of high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to study, and that's a kind of a commonality amongst high schoolers in general. I was really good at math in high school, and I had a relative that was an engineer, so I thought in my head, well, I'll try an engineering and see how it goes. I like the math component of it, and so I started out at OSU Cascades as an energy systems engineering student. And within the first week, actually, I took a calculus class and I took a intro to engineering class. And within the first week of college, I kind of knew that wasn't for me. And so week two, I met with my academic advisor and I was kind of looking at the, what majors OSU Cascades offered. And I remember taking AP psychology in high school, and I really found it fascinating and really interesting. And I also really liked helping people. So I kind of explored that major more in depth in my own research. And so my academic advisor recommended that I switch to psychology. And I'm really grateful for that because I really fell in love with the psychology major.
That's awesome. I can understand how taking a calculus class in your first week of college would make you maybe not want to pursue that. So
Absolutely, yeah.
100%
Yep,
understood.
totally.
What were some of your favorite places to hang out, whether it was on campus or in the community of Bend?
Sure. Probably a commonality amongst OSU-Cascades students, but my favorite place on campus is study grounds, hands down. I'm also a little bit biased because I've worked there as a barista, but it's kind of the place to meet people and hang out. Not only will you see students there hanging out in the coffee shop, but you'll also see professors and instructors, faculty, and staff members as well. Something that's really cool that I really appreciated was that sometimes professors will hold their office hours in study ground. So kind of that more casual meeting with students. But I would say another aspect is just that community feeling, right? You're drinking coffee, you're hanging out with friends, meeting people on campus. And so that's on campus, that's my favorite spot. In Bend, there are a variety of coffee shops that I do like. The Commons is another great one. Back Porch. I also like rock climbing, so the Bend Rock Gym is definitely a hangout spot that I tend to frequent at, and I'll bump into other OSU Cascade students and other members of the community. The really cool thing that I appreciate is that OSU Cascades is so small that you'll often see students, faculty, and staff out in the community, which is something that I really appreciate and value.
That's awesome. During your time as a student, did you happen to have like a favorite class that you took or one that really stands out?
Yeah, really good question. I would have to say Families in Poverty. It was an HGFS course. It's taught by one of my favorite professors, Dr. Dennis Lynn. And so he was able to share his insight, background, experience with us in class. But it also had a service learning component to it. So I was able to go out into the community and volunteer and meet people in that regard as well. So it kind of goes back to the OSU Cascades commitment in not only learning inside the classroom, but also having that hands-on experience outside of the classroom. And Dr. Lang was able to share his insight, his knowledge, and he is definitely one of my favorite professors there.
That's great. I love hearing about all the different classes that our OSU Cascades, alums have taken, because it reminds me how many really cool programs that we have and kind of, the diverse offerings on campus. So that's really cool to hear.
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite memories to share, besides, studying, going to class, all that fun stuff?
Totally. That was a harder one because I had a lot of great memories over the past 4 years as a student. One that sticks out actually occurred before college even started. I had the opportunity to participate in the Headwaters program, which is very unique to OSU Cascades. It's one of our signature programs for incoming freshmen. And so I had the opportunity to go on a 5-day backpacking trip with 10 other incoming freshman students before classes even started here. So I came from Chicago not knowing a single soul. And by the end of the trip, I was able to really have great connections and relationships with a ton of other freshmen that attended the trip. And sure, the trip was challenging, right? The first day was hiking, 3 or 4 miles uphill. And so that was hard, but at the end of the day, those relationships really helped me acclimate to living so far away from home. And the cool thing was that I was able to maintain those relationships with most of those students throughout my 4 years at OSU Cascades. Another kind of memory that I really appreciate was actually involving Dr. Lynn again. This was actually at my commencement ceremony. My dad was actually broke his foot a couple of days before the ceremony, and he left a few minutes before it ended to go back to the car. And a gentleman approached him and he asked my dad, "Do you need any help? Can I help you in any way?" And my dad's like, "Yeah, I'm looking for a car with an Illinois license plate." And he's like, "Okay, I'll help you out, look for it." And we got back to the car, and little did I know that man that offered my dad help was Dr. Lynn. So really cool story there. And it just goes to show that what Dr. Lynn preached in class, he not only talked the talk, but he walked the walk. And so those are a couple memories that stand out to me.
That's great. I love those memories.
Yep.
Those are awesome. Shane, how do you think that your experience at OSU Cascades kind of prepared you for life after college? I mean, obviously you're
Yep.
working with us now, but
Totally.
how did it prepare you?
Yeah, really good question. I think my experience at OSU Cascades prepared me in a number of ways, not only professionally, but also personally. Not only inside the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. So I'll just start inside the classroom, right? I was able to learn different theories, different topics in psychology, in human development, in family sciences, that will be of great service to me in my future career goal to become a school counselor. Well, not only that, but also the fact that our class sizes are so small that I was able to really get involved in discussions with my fellow classmates, really make connections with my professors and my instructors, which definitely helped prepare me for, a future career after graduating from college. On a personal level, I was able to experience a lot of self-growth, and kind of come about with a greater sense of self-identity. When I was in high school, I had a hard time making friends, and I went to a really big high school, so oftentimes it was hard to kind of make those connections with other students and teachers. But after coming to OSU Cascades, I feel like I was able to really shine and come out of my shell. I used to be really shy, and so going to a smaller school, being able to form really good, meaningful relationships with people, really helped me to become more social, develop really good social skills, such as active listening, eye contact, and being able to carry a conversation. And I think that's something that being a student here at OSU Cascades taught me. So.
Great.
I love that. And I feel like we're seeing it in action right now with you as an admissions advisor. So that's very cool.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So what kinds of things are you involved in now, like in your free time, now that you don't have to study, you don't have to do all those fun things?
Yeah.
What sorts of things are you involved in outside of work?
Definitely, yeah. So one thing I'm involved in is I'm on a curling team. So we're the OSU Cascades Curling Jam. So myself and a few other staff members here on campus, Britt's also on the team. And so we do pickup games every Sunday at the pavilion here in town. It's a really cool way for me to experience a new sport and get some exercise in.
That's always good.
Yeah. I'm also part of the Big Brother, Big Sister program. So I'm a big brother to a child here in town that doesn't have a good relationship with his father. So I'm able to mentor him through games and activities and sports. After I graduated, I worked over the summer at the Boys and Girls Club here in town, and so I kind of wanted to continue that good work of serving the community and mentoring youth. So I'm also a part of that. And then in my free time, I like to rock climb, run, and just kind of experience the beauty of Central Oregon.
And just because we work together and I've seen this, Shane is just awesome with prospective families and students.
Thank you, Craig.
And also, whenever we have like a volunteer event for staff to be a part of or contribute to the OSU Cascades community, always one of the first people that I see is Shane. So we're really, really honored to have you as an alumni, but also have you part of this team. You really contribute a lot.
Oh, thank you, Craig. It means a lot.
That's awesome. First of all, curling is amazing. I have always wanted to learn how to play. So maybe next time I come up to Bend, I will have you guys give me a lesson.
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
I've always wanted to learn. So Shane, anything else you want to share with us about your experience at OSU Cascades, whether it's, your current experience as an admissions advisor or, your experience as a student?
I think the one last thing I would say is my experience as a student, not only working on campus, but being able to form relationships with other students, faculty, and staff members really guided me and aided me to where I'm at today as an admissions advisor. Like people like Craig, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without the guidance and the support from Craig and other staff and faculty on campus. And so I'm really grateful for that.
Do you have any advice maybe for somebody that's beginning their college journey, or even somebody that might be a student today?
Absolutely, yeah. I think the biggest piece of advice that I would give is to really try and put yourself out there and step outside of your comfort zone. That's something that I was able to do coming in as a first-year student here at OSU-Cascades. And something that I really haven't done before. I was pretty shy coming, in high school and in my earlier life. And so really putting myself out there and meeting people and really just challenging myself, right? Challenging myself not only through school, but through trying new things like curling, for instance, right? And I think that's a piece of advice that I would want to give to incoming freshman students.
It's good advice.
Great advice. Shane, thank you so much for joining us. It was really fun to hear. Yeah, it was really fun to hear your reflections on your time at OSU Cascades and all of the things that you've been involved in. So thanks for taking some time with us today.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
But Shane, before you go,
Yes.
Allie, do you know what time I think it is?
Craig, what time is it?
It's time for Oregon State Trivia. Allie has a trivia question for you.
Okay.
She'll read it.
Oh boy, okay.
And you have a couple seconds to kind of like deliberate your answer and offer it to us, and we'll see if you win.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Okay.
What you win, to be determined.
Okay, to be determined. All right. All right.
Yes, TBD. All right. So your question is, Oregon State University is one of only 3 schools to hold which 4 federal grants?
Oh, land, sea, sun, and space.
Yes.
We have
That's correct.
We have a
We have a winner.
How about a high five?
All right.
Since you're in the same room, a high five is perfect.
Perfect.
Well, Shane, before we let you go, can we get a big go bend Beavs from you?
Yep.
On the count of 3.
On the count of 3.
1, 2, 3.
Go Ben Beavs.
Perfect. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining us, and we hope you can join us for our next episode of Beaver Tracks. It will be a damn good time.